Because the reason that this is so important for minority businesses is because we don't use it, right? All right. I'll show you guys this article. Who here is like good at reading, like out loud? Nobody.
Don't want to.
You guys are killing me, Smalls. You can. Thank you. God bless you. God bless you. Okay. I'll make it zoom in a little bit. Okay. You mind reading these two paragraphs? 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Putting your home in a trust keeps your most valuable asset out of probate court that can take up to a year and require your heirs to spend their vacation days tied up hearings. When you have a mortgage on the home you want to place in a trust, it's important to notify your lender first to make sure your trust contains all the necessary ingredients to satisfy their standards. Otherwise, you can end up triggering your note's due on sale clause. Tip. Yes, you can put a home that has a mortgage into a family trust. However, the crucial first step is to contact your lender to determine its requirements. Understanding due on sale. When you take your name off the deed and replace it with the name of a trust, you're no longer the legal owner of the property. Mortgage companies have a problem with this since the person paying back the loan no longer has vested interest in the property. A lender can activate the due on sale clause anytime the interest in the property changes title without their prior written consent.
Okay, thank you. That was great, Rob. That was good. That's really good. Okay. So the question was, why would someone want an irrevocable trust? Most lenders now want, most if not all, most lenders want an irrevocable trust.
Because they want to know who the trustee is and stuff at all times.
Yeah. So in case, in this example, right? If someone were to switch the ownership and they just choose like, fucking, I ain't paying shit, right? The lender's like, whoa, I need to know who I'm suing, so I can go ahead and either take back possession of the property or go ahead and call that loan due, right? So
they have to define who the trustee is in an irrevocable trust then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got to be written out like Billy Bob is a trustee, and in the event that Billy Bob can no longer be a trustee either by death or being voted out, whatever else, then James Austin is now held responsible as the new standing trustee. Yeah. So.
That's important then to contact your mortgage company first.
Yeah, contact. Yeah. But here's the deal. What used to happen is that mortgage companies could choose whether or not to allow someone to put their property into a trust. What happened is the Garn-St. Germain Act of 1982 made it now that they have to allow it, which is pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, the Garn-St. Germain Act of 1982, I'll write it down for everyone. And feel free to look it up.
So now I see what he was saying. I need to. Last time we were here, you said get that trust. You said create a trust. Yeah, damn. Yeah. And I had that comment. Yeah.
All my family members got trusted, so.
Yeah.
Okay. So, the Garn-St. Germain Act of 1982, this is what actually triggered the economic downfall in 2006, 2007. And so what this allowed banks to do is it allowed banks to call notes due, or they call it like a due on sales clause, to demand full payment.
When was this again?
1982.
Oh, that was when Reaganomics was there.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so what it did, it deregulated the savings and loan associations. So this allowed banks to give consumers. Who knows what this is?
Yeah,
You know, what is that for some of us? Yeah.
yeah, that was horrible.
Yes.
Yes, that was horrible.
What was it?
Just for rate.
Based upon the interest rate.
Oh,
If you ever go through that, that was horrible.
What is that?
Your mortgage rate can change
Oh,
basically. Is
You
it
can-
not change
is
at
it
any time, but it
refinancing
can
it?
be
Like-
the bank can set it at this for like 1 year, and then they can change it to this.
It can change.
It changes with the market,
It
basically.
can change with the market. Yeah, like almost in a moment. Yeah.
Isn't it tied to the interest rate?
Yes, from the Federal Reserve.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. And so back in the 80s, interest rates were up to 18% and 20%. If you lived through that, it was horrible.
So, but during that, no, that's real.
That
And
is.
so during that time, did most people actually buy homes?
Yeah.
How did
Because the interest rate would go down, they buy a home, thought they were doing good, then all of a sudden it come back up, and then you were out of the home, and yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, but I had to refinance my mom's house in that, because she did one of those things.
She had an arm.
Yeah.
These who do you think these arms were targeted to the most?
Poor people.
Minorities. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So we know about that. I don't have to do a lot of background on that one then.
so are you saying that banks can only allow irrevocable trust fund, or can they? It just depends
Most
on who you're
banks.
dealing with.
And all you would do is just say, hey, listen, I wanted to make, I've been talking to my mom about whatever, or my grandma about getting older, and we want to go ahead and put the house into a trust for the family. And say, what are you guys' requirements for that? And they'll tell you. They'll say, oh, well, honestly, any trust is fine. Or they may say, hey, let me get you over to our legal department, and they'll tell you exactly what we need. Like, I know for a fact, Quicken Loans have a whole department, and they will tell you line by line what they want. And they'll actually ask you to submit your trust document to them so they can read it before they approve it. Other banks are like, that's cool. Is your mom still gonna make the payment? Like, yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, we're not worried. I'm telling you, from my experience. Some banks are like, yeah, no problem. Other banks are like, here's what we want, and it has to be this way for us to be cool with it.
Okay, I have a quick question. So it's actually the deed that's in the trust? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they actually have to change the name on the deed then.
Yes.
Oh, I think I hate that.
No, it's not. Well, it's not that big. It changes with the county. The county changes it, so it's $46 to change it with Marion County.
Okay.
It's $46.
And that's it.
That's it. And if you want, Marion County will also change the address that any letters in reference to that property goes to. So if you wanted to change it to a P.O. box, you could do that.
Okay, quick
It's
question.
$46.
What if there's multiple people on the deeds?
Like a husband and wife kind of thing, or
Yeah, something like that.
is it a
They
mortgage?
both- What they both have to like agree on, and like on the deed.
On the deed, but who's on the mortgage?
So my grandmother's house is paid off,
Okay.
but it's her and her sister that's on the deed.
The deed.
Yeah.
As long as those two come to an agreement, that's fine.
Okay.
However they want to write it. So maybe, so you said your grandmother, your aunt, right? For example.
Yeah.
Maybe grandma would like her half to go to these two children, and maybe your aunt wants her, as long as it's written in the trust, no big deal.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they
Does it
both
have to
have to
come
agree,
from-
one person can't do it, or.
They both have to agree. Yeah. Because what happens is that, and this is the process really. The process that happens for the trust is it goes, and everyone knows what a deed is, right?
Can you give a little explanation?
Background on it? Yeah. So the deed or title is what is given for every asset of value. So whether it's a car, cars have titles, right? So if someone has, let's say you go to a car dealership and you purchase a vehicle, right? The vehicle you purchase, they may not give you the actual title, okay? Because technically the title belongs to the lender until you pay it off. But with real estate, they'll give you a title deed, like if you have a mortgage on it, they'll kind of give you we want to let people know that you own it and that you're responsible for it, but we're not going to give you the full rights until you pay this mortgage off, okay? And so you can look up title deeds. Actually, in Indiana, you can look up title deeds for both cars and for any real property. So cars, houses, whatever, boats, you can look up title deeds online. So that's what that's for. So it'll have a name on it, and then it will have a legal description. All right, and that legal description could say stuff like, it depends on how, let's say in the 1700s or 1800s, the settlers saw this piece of land, and at that point they named it, it's weird, like Washington Park L65 of blah blah Main of Drive. So it's just mumbo jumbo, but that's how they recorded it. So it'll have someone's name, and it'll have a legal description.
So it's just kind of like an illegal documentation of
Ownership.
Ownership, yeah, there you go. Okay, gotcha.
So you'll have a title deed. You'll have what's called a quitclaim. And then you'll have your trust. All right, a quitclaim, and you can use a quitclaim or warranty deed. And I'll tell you guys the difference. Okay. A quitclaim allows you to transfer ownership at the drop of a hat, as long as it's recorded. And so by something being recorded, it has a stamp. It has like a commission from a notary. That's it. So that's something being recorded or notarized. So the quitclaim, you may put your grandmother's name on the quitclaim for one part, and then on the other part, as a receiving party, you may put 1, 2, 3 trust as a receiving part. And so that quitclaim, once it's filed, it will change on the county records. And so now it has the trust as the new owner on deed. Okay? Now a quitclaim just means that this person quits all claims to that piece of property. Now what that also means is if that piece of property has anything attached to it like a lien, a violation, speeding tickets, whatever else, on a quitclaim, that will also become a part of that deed. So like let's say you have a car, let's say you have a house, when you go to sell that house, if that house has on it an IRS bill, let's say $5,000. Well, in order for you to sell this house completely, this $5,000 lien from the IRS has to also be paid off in conjunction with the sale. Cool? So quitclaim.
So what if it's not?
What if what's not?
The tax is not paid when you sell your house.
Then you can't.
You won't be able to sell it.
Right.
Yeah. You can quitclaim it to anybody you want, but this lien with the IRS will stay attached to that property until it's paid off. But if you want to buy something with a warranty deed makes sure that that anything that's attached to it, like negatively, is either taken off or paid for. So a warranty deed allows you to insure your title. Does that make sense so far?
Okay, so say that again. I'm sorry, I wasn't there. So warranty deed is something that you buy extra, or or is that another document? Is that what you're saying?
A warranty deed it's similar to a quitclaim, but these are two different documents, and you would only do one or the other. You got me?
Mm-hmm.
So you may hear someone say like, "Man, I can't buy that house. That house has a dirty title."
Mm-hmm.
What they're saying is, if I wanted to buy it using a warranty deed and insure the title, I would have to use a warranty deed. But if I wanted to just buy the house by you signing it over from you to me, I could do that. But it would have to be done via a quick claim.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Can you pass off the IRS bill if you're the person who's signing it over to the trust? Can you keep the IRS bill with you and then you sign off the rest of the property?
No, IRS don't play no games.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's always
The IRS bill is going to be there until it's paid off. Now, you could, on your own, call the IRS and say, hey, listen, I'm going to make my $5,000 payment, or I'm going to go ahead and set up a payment plan, possibly. And in some instances, they'll release the lien from the property, you know, for you to satisfy it. But yeah, IRS plays no games.
So you're saying a warranty deed is kind of like a guarantee that there are no liens against the house?
Basically, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And so somebody does a
So
search
basically,
on
they
it,
do a
make
title
sure-
search on it and make sure there's nothing
Right.
attached to it before you
Yeah.
take over.
Because with a warranty deed, you normally will get what's called title insurance. And so that just means, like, God forbid, if there were any mistakes, there will be insurance that will cover whatever mistakes there were. So let's say a trash lien or high grass lien, that kind of stuff. Okay. All right. So it goes from title to quick claim, and then it goes into the trust. Okay. Now, a land trust and a regular trust, all that means, in the short of it all, a land trust, you can only put land in the trust. A regular trust, you can put your shoes in it, your glasses, a drop of blood, whatever you want. You can put that into your trust
And you can put as much land in a land trust as you want to.
as you so choose.
So
Yeah.
a number of different properties. Is it so if you have a house on land, it's the house and the land. It's not just the land, right?
Correct.
So it's the
Yeah.
full property.
It's the full portion.
So you can have multiple trusts, like so land trust for land, and then just a revocable trust for everything else, or?
Yeah, if you wanted to, you can have it for jewelry, right, or for your car, or people do baseball cards, for example. And as weird as that is.
No, is there a trust for like a business, or I mean I don't know if that's.
That's what
It would be you would just choose either or.
Okay.
Most people will try to make it difficult and say, oh, it's a special trust. It's the same damn thing. You just choose what you want it to be. The only one by law that is different is a land trust, and that's just so that it's only for real estate. That's it.
So land trust is for real estate.
Yeah.
But that's for simple people like me, would it just be better just to do a revocable trust or versus a land trust plus a revocable trust?
Are we putting real estate in this, or
Mhm.
okay? If you put real estate in it, I would first. Is there a mortgage on the property?
Mm-hmm.
I would first ask the lender
What they want.
what they
Okay,
and they'll tell you exactly what it is they want.
okay. You
Yeah.
can't do anything without their approval, okay.
Yeah, because you don't want them to do a sales clause. But the cool thing about all this stuff here is how much does it cost to make a trust?
you said $46.
To record it.
Oh,
It's free to make a trust.
So you just have to record it and it exists.
You record it and then it exists. Yes, sir.
Through the state?
And then who do you record it with?
You
Where do
can
you record it?
so you can record it with the state. You can record it federally. And really what happens a lot of times is that most people don't necessarily record the trust. They may get like a trust deed, which basically just says like, hey, this trust exists. But if they're making it for it to be revocable, they're just recording and saying, hey, I exist. You know. Hey, this exists, and at that time, this is the beneficiary, and this is the trustee. That's really all they do with the state. And then, you keep those documents for yourself. So what I was gonna do for everyone here is, let me make sure I have it right. I was gonna give you guys a trust document that you can use and edit for yourself. Give me 1 second.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
No, I just went through financial planning with Eastern Star.
Yeah.
And they are offering, I can't think of the name of the company, to come in and talk to us about trust.
Perfect. Get their pick their brain.
Well, that's what I'm gonna do, but I don't know if it's perfect or not.
Pick their brain, see what he says, and then ask him. Say, hey, listen, do you happen to have? Is there a trust that of yours that maybe I can read or can learn from, or that I could get a better grasp on? I don't know who the person is. Maybe they know. I don't know.
Well, and of course it's free too, right?
Sure, yeah.
Ain't nothing free.
The trust itself is
So-
free, but you have to pay for it to be filed.
Well, no, what they want is, because I've already asked this question, they want to donate something to the church.
Oh, okay.
That's.
Oh, okay.
So they can write them into the trust.
Oh, okay.
So they want to.
I got you.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with it. Don't get me wrong. But yeah.
So they, yeah.
But the church not.
Well, because God forbid if you pass away and that property is in probate and the judge orders your family to liquidate it, I mean, you can't pass it on to anybody.
Right.
But if you do it now, you can go ahead and put what's the church's name? Sorry.
Eastern Star.
You can go ahead and put Eastern Star as a beneficiary. Sounds good
I will
to me.
leave them something.
You will? Okay.
It's my choice of words, right?
You can do it. But okay, cool. Just so everyone knows. Can a beneficiary be a business?
Yes.
Yes. That's what Eastern Star is going to basically squeeze you on to make their church a beneficiary. Actually, that's how most churches get wealthy.
Okay,
Right.
that's right.
That's how most churches get
Learning
wealthy.
this myself.
Yeah, because that's what most wealthy people do. So to make sure that their family doesn't have to deal with too much taxes for their inheritance, they'll leave a certain portion of their trust on purpose to the church, and only it's a building. And so they'll leave that to the church. That way the state or the trust or the fund won't have to worry about those proceeds, kind of thing. You got me?
So you still have to pay taxes on the trust then?
On the probate.
It's probate. So yeah, I'll show you real quick.
Probate taxes, you like crazy too.
Mm-hmm.
Basically,
Until you have nothing left to keep.
So, all right. Here's the thing. With a trust, you can pass your assets to your beneficiary with no problem. If the beneficiaries choose to liquidate the assets, that's when you get into the tax thing.
Okay.
That's why most people who have a trust, everything stays in that trust for as long as possible. And what really wealthy families do, is they lend money out of the trust to the beneficiaries, right? So if it's a grandson and if he wants to start a business, they may lend him, we'll do small numbers and say $10,000 at 0% interest. Okay? Makes sense? Instead of giving money, they lend it. Now hell, it's a 0% interest loan. Nothing strapped to it, right? No collateral. So it's a gift. But for tax purposes, the trust lent money to that individual.
So do they check that the money at one point comes back? Because if you lend, it means that. With
great families, in my opinion, what they do is they make this individual pay back the money with interest. So they may make him pay 5% interest, but he has to pay that $10,000 back plus interest. If he does not pay back that money with interest, what great families do is they get a life insurance policy on him, and let's say he has $1 million. Okay? Who do you think the family makes the beneficiary of the life insurance policy?
The trust.
The trust. Makes sense.
But they have to get approval from the grandson to get the life insurance policy. Though.
Sure.
Yeah, but that's all done at the time of the loan.
Yeah. No, what most of them do is they have the grandson in these papers that he signs to get this loan, they have him sign somewhere in one of these papers a power of attorney.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seriously, that's the
This
truth.
is crazy, yeah.
No, that's what they do.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, and so the trust grows. The trust continues to grow, year in, year out, day by day. The trust grows, and anyone who gets money out is money that money is linked. Money is not given, because what happens is, if you give over 6% a year of a trust, that amount is taxed.
Taxable.
It's taxed. Yeah, it's taxed, which makes no sense. But if you lend money as debt, it's not.
So
Just-
how do they get money then? Like trust fund baby, how do they get those monthly income? Is it through lending or?
Dividend,
Oh.
like a company.
Yeah.
Alright.
So almost like a salary.
Mhm.
But whatever is written in that, whatever is written in the agreement for the trust, maybe it's only $5,000 a month. It's not. It's normally not a lot. It's not what we think as far as It's like, man, most of these trust fund kids, we're talking like $5,000 to maybe like 10 or 20 grand
From one trust, and
a month.
can it be multiple trusts that they're getting dividends from?
They can have multiple trusts. So maybe this trust was started with their great grandmother, for example, and then maybe another trust was started with their great grandfather, right? Different families, right? This could have been the Hilton family here, and maybe the Hilton family married a wealthy person, and I don't know, say the Morgans, for example. Well, Morgan is my grandfather and Hilton is my grandmother, and so they may get money from both.
From both, okay.
Yeah. But what we as families should do is maybe you can't get, maybe grandma is like, hell no, you're not getting $1 million on me. And that's fine. But who here has had a grandmother or a loved one, an elderly person, go to like hospice or, something like that? Okay. Do you recall the documents that they required your grandmother or your loved one to sign? Anyone remember or had an idea?
Power of attorney.
Huh?
Power of attorney.
Yeah. And when she signed the power of attorney, they got a term life insurance policy in grandma's name. Who do you think the senior living facility made as the beneficiary?
The facility itself.
The facility itself.
No, really.
Oh,
That's the biggest family.
yes, sir.
They get money.
Yes, I promise you,
They get
man.
money. They
Seriously.
take advantage of a lot of old people like that.
Yeah.
So,
Now-
They
That's
make a
why
lot
we're
of
looking
money.
at you going around, like you're popping up now, okay?
Yes.
We can get into that. We'll get into that real quick and see
No,
how.
I don't want to scope creep, but that's, yeah, this is interesting, this is.
So the reason,
It's criminal.
so here's the deal. What happens when grandmother gets of age and she, maybe the grandchildren or whatever, they don't want to take care of her, and so you want to put her in a senior living facility. What happens?
They take all your assets.
Come on, give me that shit. No, this is real. Why?
Yeah.
Because they have power of
Because
attorney.
that can pay for it.
Huh?
You have to pay for your grandmother while she's
Yeah,
there,
power
because she
of
can
attorney.
pay monthly.
Our government says so.
Right?
All right, here we go.
You actually have to sign your assets over to them.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. It seemed too much of a little lifetime.
No. So you sign the assets over to them, right?
Yeah.
But here's the issue with us as minorities. We're okay with having grandma sign her assets over to the senior living facility,
Mm-hmm.
but we're not okay with her signing her assets over to a trust.
Right.
She's doing the same thing. It's just their trust. That's what happens. That is what happens. And here's the deal. Do you know what builds a senior living facility? You know what loan builds a senior living facility? Just take a guess. What kind of loan builds a senior living facility? All right. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna erase this one. Where is this one? This one.
I only do that, that's if they take their monthly check too.
So here we go. Here's what happens. What is this loan called, guys? Because this is one of the biggest ones that holds grandma's house up. What's that called? Just tell me the acronym. Just tell me.
FHA,
All right, cool. Thank you. What is FHA meant for?
federal housing,
Okay, but who is that loan meant for?
most owner occupied.
Yeah. Okay. Who else?
She don't
Like
have enough
what type
equity.
of people?
First time.
First time home buyers, right? Normally, right? Normally. But you can have as many FHA loans as for your lifetime. But you only have one at a time.
One that you're actually living in.
Yeah.
I have my house under it.
Yeah, most people do. Most first time, right? Okay, and then what's more of the target market for FHAs? Age, demographics.
Is it lower income?
Millennials.
Well, just give me an age range. Age range, because
25.
FHA has been around since. What's that guy with the wheelchair? Who was the president? Eisenhower.
Yeah.
Eisenhower, right? You said Roosevelt's a big guy, right? So, and I could be wrong. Maybe it was a few years before him. Anyway, that's how long this has been. Okay? Because the interest rates are so freaking crazy, they said, yo, we need to spur the American economy with debt. And what we're going to do is we're going to get people to buy houses and make them buy houses. Let's make it easier for them. What's the requirements for FHA?
You only have to put 3% down.
3.5%.
Or 3.5% down.
Down payment, that's what that is, guys, DP. All right, what else?
Credit score 575.
Yeah. Say it louder for everybody. Don't whisper it. What is it?
A credit score of 575.
Okay.
Oh, is that
And then you gotta add on mortgage insurance, just like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Your credit score for 3.5% will be a 580 or better, right? But if you have credit of a 500, then your down payment will end up being about 10%. Okay. All right. You said the mortgage insurance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yep.
You get that on a conventional loan also.
Yeah. Some of them do. Yeah.
But that never falls off.
Never falls off.
Yes, it does.
Standard loan it does after a certain percentage is paid off.
Mhm.
Right.
But FHA,
FHA it stays the entirety of the loan.
yeah, for life. The life of the loan.
Okay.
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 All right.
What's I'm sorry, I
Yes.
missed it. What's the FHA?
Federal Housing, what's that, authority or whatever, administration. All right. Now, what about age, guy? What's the age of this? So, if it's first-time home buyers, then who is that?
Like 20 something.
Thank you. So 20s. I'm gonna say 20s to 45s.
Yeah.
All right. That's how they lump us in. Just tell y'all. 20 to 45s. All right. Cool. That's that. That's called an FHA. All right. What is the FHA 223?
For profit.
So we got FHA 223 and also FHA 232. Who's that for?
Is that for another age group above 45?
No.
Yeah.
One more guess? Anyone else want to throw a stick at it? Throw a stone
That
at
means
it?
if you're not a minority,
No.
So
We
would it
wish,
be, since we're talking about the senior
What are we talking
living,
about? Yeah, come on, yeah.
So would it be the facilities that,
Come, give me a high five. That's right. Because that's what we're talking about, right? It's for senior living facilities. All right. Let me put it full circle for you. Let's make it. Let's put it to where most people understand it. Let me give your young ass this loan, and this loan is going to be for 30 years. Correct? Most of them are. They got 15s and all that crap. But this loan will be for 30 years. Okay. You're 20 right now. When you get done with this loan, you can be about 50. Okay. Now that loan should be paid off in between you being 50 and what? 75 years old. All right, bet. Right? You catch it now?
Yeah.
Let me get your old ass in this living facility. So by the age of what? 50, 60, right? By the time you pay this loan off, your old ass should be in this living facility. Because that's how it's made, seriously. It is literally made for the FHA to force in the economics you got supply and demand, correct? Okay, so which one is supply?
FHA to the
Huh?
customer.
Huh?
That's a FHA, the supplier to the customer who got the demand.
You wanted to know why there's so many senior living facilities popping up, right? Because it's the same loan. It's just that this loan, 223 or 232, is for senior living facilities. Where for FHA for a house, you need 3.5% down payment. If you wanted to build a senior living facility, you only need 10%, and they'll even do a carryback for you, and they'll go as low as 3%. To build.
So that's why you say it's criminal, because they're getting the loans cheap, they're building these facilities, getting people to do $1 million loans
Also, they
on
but look,
die, and then they turn around and become rich on
They
it.
take your monthly allowance, their money too.
Yeah.
So if you retire and you get that amount, they take that right over to them too. So
But
not only
see-
they're getting your property.
But see, that money could have been put into the trust for the
Right.
family. You feel me?
Right.
So what happens is, in order for grandma to qualify to live at a senior living facility, she has to liquidate all of her what?
Assets.
She has to sign a power of attorney that makes her term life insurance, makes the beneficiary who? The senior living facility.
Living facility.
You got
They
me?
getting all
But if
that.
you have a trust already, you don't have to do that.
You
then?
got- no, exactly. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all we gotta do. Because at that point, who doesn't have any assets to liquidate?
Grandma.
And then who qualifies immediately for the senior living facility? Grandma. But instead, grandma's like, no, I worked so hard for everything I got. Okay, and you're going to hand it over to them anywhere, because you can't live in those facilities with the county paying X% or the city or the state paying X% as far as a dividend without you doing that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, it's just supply and demand. That's it. By the time you own that house free and clear, it's about time for you to go ahead and hand that mug over to me.
But would it be easy for grandma to qualify for like a nursing home facility with the trust on her name?
What do you mean is it easy for grandma to, so anything that's in the trust is no longer in her name?
Would they
What
accept
about-
grandma
yeah, what do-
if she has a trust
she
and
meets
no
the
actual
qualifications.
assets?
Yeah, because grandma she shouldn't be the beneficiary of her
Age
trust.
is really the only thing that you need to do to qualify to live in a senior living.
And your
if you
income.
have The number of assets you have, it doesn't matter really, but your income does matter.
Your income.
So say she's done well and she's getting $5,000 a month from everything because of her retirement, her husband and all that good stuff and good investments. So what is that? What do you do with that then?
That's all in the trust.
If like just the average person, right?
Yeah.
What she should do is sign those assets and that income over to the trust. Because if she's trying to live in a senior living facility, they're gonna tell her that she makes too much, she doesn't qualify.
Right.
Or she can do it, but she's gonna have to pay out of pocket
Right. But if she has a trust, she doesn't have to do that.
because she doesn't own anything. She has no assets.
But who's going to pay for it stay in the facility?
Yeah, that's
You said who?
Yeah.
Trust can pay for it.
Either. So are we talking about in general who pays for grandma?
Yeah.
Normally, who pays for grandma would be, I'm gonna say, specialty programs. That would be like we're in Marion County, so that may be like Marion County. It may be her taxes that she's invested into society. It could be her church that donates a certain amount. It could be her insurance that maybe kicks in a certain amount. All these kind of come into play for paying grandma's monthly expense at this facility. You know what I mean? Or she could pay everything outright out of her pocket. But for most of these, in order for her to utilize or reach into some of those programs, she has to be within a certain income. And if her income is too high, Marion County is like, nah, you can't use us. If her income's too high, you know, Uncle Sam might be like, you know, we're gonna say that for someone who really needs it. You got me? But instead, if all the income's in a trust, she can qualify for all these programs. And then let's say that grandma is someone who just, she wants to ball out, then she would pay for it herself. And however much she wants to pay for that.
Okay, so when you talk about the income going inside the trust, I know I have a client that has his bank account in his trust.
Yes.
How is that, what is that process like?
So the government can seize your account if you owe taxes.
Mhm.
So he doesn't own his account, it's in his trust.
So you go through like your bank and just put it
Yeah,
in?
so what you would do is, every bank allows it. You just have to ask.
Okay.
They're not gonna say to you like, hey, before you put that checking account in your name, there's a better way. They're not gonna say that. So you have to say, hey, listen, I'm thinking about opening a trust. What are your qualifications for me?
Okay.
And it's not much. They're gonna ask for, and normally will ask for your EIN. They will ask for your trust document. And that's it. That's it.
So can that person access their money within their bank account?
Why would you
Yeah,
have
that's-
a bank
that's-
account in
It's
the
like
trust?
if you have a second person on your bank account.
They can still be the trustee themselves then, right?
They could.
And then that would give them access to their own money,
Yeah.
or is that not right?
Or you can make the trustee of a company. And maybe,
Make your LLC.
Make your LLC, yeah,
Trustee,
and-
and then you pay yourself a salary out of
You
what
can.
you're gonna get. And
Yeah.
then, so,
So what is the point of having the bank account in the trust? Like,
The
what would
point?
be the benefit of it versus not doing it?
if you want to protect your funds in your account, maybe you don't want your funds in your name, maybe you want your funds in your trust name.
so a trust
It's
is
solely up to you.
essentially your person's personal corporate veil of like what an LLC provides. You have an LLC that gives you the corporate veil that has to be pierced before you have your assets taken and stuff. So a trust is more or less the personal version of that.
The trust would be, see, an LLC isn't really, an LLC is not very, what's the word I'm looking for? Discreet. Like, I can look up anyone's LLC right now if I wanted to.
But the trust is more.
The trust is discreet. Because you notice what I said for your bank account, they didn't ask you to file those documents. They just wanted a copy of the trust document. They didn't ask you to file anything.
They just want to see that you actually have it.
That's it.
So your name on your bank account changes to whatever your trust name is?
You would open a whole new bank account.
Okay.
You just open up a whole new bank account. You know?
So,
But think about this time, guys, real quick. Sorry. Who's ever wired money before? Anyone? Okay. Do they ask you, when you send money, don't they ask you who's the
Recipient.
beneficiary? You don't remember seeing that?
I mean,
Yeah.
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 Pay attention.
Right?
been a while.
You said it's been a while.
Yeah.
But no, that's what they say. They say, hey, who's the beneficiary? Who's getting this money?
So, question. So, your bi-weekly paycheck, usually when you deposit something, like a check into a bank, it has to have that person's name on the check that's on the account as well. So how does that work? Just trying-
So if you want to, if you work for an employer,
Right.
right, and you want to pay your trust instead of paying yourself,
Like you get a direct deposit from
Yeah.
your company at work, then it usually has to have your name on it before it can be deposited into your banking account.
so if it's a check, and if it's for your bank, you can probably just endorse the back of it.
Well,
But
it's
if-
just like a direct deposit.
But if it's for a direct deposit, it would be best for you to talk to your HR manager
And then
make
essentially
them aware.
your company will be paying
Your trust.
So
The only thing with the trust is, I don't believe a trust itself can work for another organization. But I would say talk to your HR manager on that. All right. So we got the whole supply and demand. I'm happy you say that because this is exactly what it is. Okay. All right. I'm gonna give you guys this example of what my wife and I do in reference to trust. So just real quick review. The FHA loan that builds the senior living facilities that we all know is the cousin of the FHA loan that allows people to buy their first time house for most Americans. Okay.
So before you erase that, so I turned 75, so I have a home. I have to move into a senior living facility, right?
Yes.
So either I sign my home over to them,
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
or I put it in a trust.
Or you put it in trust. They won't tell you that you have that option to put it in the trust, but yes.
And that's in the 223 and the 232 is just for the facility to be built. That is what the FHA is.
Yeah. So who, like for example, who here has seen one of those shows where maybe it's a first-time home buyer or a husband-wife couple, and they're building, they want to like buy a house, renovate it, like it's dilapidated, they want to redo it completely. Okay. What kind of loan is that called?
203K.
Boom, 203K. Is that an FHA?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You better down Delaware.
When they, this FHA for the investor, this allows you to build a facility from the ground up. The 203K allows you to do what?
Remodel the house.
Remodel, but can you build?
You can build too.
You can build from the ground up. What are so real quick, what are the requirements for an FHA 203K? Real quick, I'll put it right here. Yeah, because really, here's the deal. When we watch those shows,
They never talk about that on the shows.
no, but that's
They
what
don't
it
talk
is.
about a lot of that.
Because it ain't no other loan. It ain't no other loan. Because I'll tell you something real quick, the FHA will do that the other conventionals will not. The FHA will take your award letter. I could be in college today as a full-time student, and I can get a award letter, let's say from Eli Lilly. Let's say that award letter says, hey, your starting salary is going to be $80,000. It's a small number, right? I can take that award letter and build a house just on the written notice that I possibly could make $80,000 the following year. When you watch some of those shows and you see the college students, right? And you're watching these shows and they say, yeah, I'm just making my own voice. I'm just like, hey, just making my own voice. Yeah, me and Chad are graduating next year, and we decided we're going to go ahead and build a house. Now, real quick, you got to think to yourself, well, she ain't got a damn job.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, really. Yeah.
How is she building a house? I'm tripping.
I just always assumed mommy and daddy were doing
You thought no mom and daddy were doing it, right? When you get your FHA, did your loan officer or your realtor tell you that your down payment could be gifted?
it. Yes.
Yeah.
They did? Okay. Yeah. So let's say her and Chad got married, and for the wedding gift, Daddy gifted her $5,000 or $10,000 or $20,000 to go as towards a down payment. Could that work?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. It happens every day. Literally. Doesn't happen enough for minorities, but it happens every day.
No, don't.
All right. Your 203K loan, which will be used to purchase and renovate or rehab, is still 3.5% down payment. Okay. What's the credit requirement for this bad boy though?
It's like 620.
Boom.
Yeah.
620. That's it. That's it. This is 620, and everything else is exactly the same. This is 620. So you can take your award letter.
That's crazy.
You can take your offer letter from another company. All that stuff. It's the exact same process.
So it would be best if someone wants a new home buyer to do the FHA 203 to flip their house that they want.
That's the exact loan that they used to do it.
Yeah.
The only requirement is this: when you flip a house that is an
Don't you have to stay there for a
FHA,
year?
That's
Huh?
Is it a year that you have to stay
they want you to stay in there for a year, but really that's bullshit. Here's the truth. No, I swear. I'm just being honest with you guys. It's not true. They want you to, Normally, if you're gonna buy a property using an FHA loan, they want the title to be in that person's name for at least 90 days.
But you can put it under LLC or a trust and then just sell the trust.
They still want to invest it for 90.
They don't want the title to change for 90
days. That's it.
Or if you purchase it with an LLC,
percentage.
then you can just sell the LLC to the person that's buying it, and then it's within that.
If the person who's buying it is buying it via FHA, then the name has to be vested.
Oh, it has to be an actual person.
Yep. The other thing with the FHA is that man, here's the deal. Who here? I love. Who here has been to a Koreatown or Chinatown? Or you been? Okay, cool.
Chicago. Yeah.
Chicago. Oh, for sure, right?
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Crazy.
Actually, that's ugly.
Apartments on the top.
Yeah. They got little shops at the bottom, like maybe like restaurants or nail shops, whatever. And they have like apartments at the top, right? So, what you think when you see other minorities that maybe own what we would consider like a multi-use building, you think to yourself, "Oh my gosh, how do they do that? Like, they really saved with the money. They came together and did blah blah blah." All right. How many people can be on an FHA loan?
3.
More.
Yeah, it's like 4 or 5.
Four people.
Yeah.
So 4 people can come.
4 people qualify. What about when you watch those shows and someone says, "Me and my sister are gonna buy a house together," right? You're like, wait, they're not married, right? You're like, I ain't gonna do that. They ain't gotta be friends. It could be 4 random people. I promise. It could be 4 random people who come together and they make a commitment and say, "Yo, I'm gonna do this FHA process with you." That's it. So it can be 4 people on a loan. The income for each person allows you to qualify for more. Cool so far? When we see in Chinatown or Koreatown and we see these buildings, what happens is they have, like I say, a nail shop here, a restaurant here, and
Like a thrift store.
a thrift store.
Alright, corner store.
Sounds fun.
When they went to buy that, it may have been vacant, but the bank qualified that purchase under FHA guidelines as if there were tenants in that building. You feel me? Who does not understand what I'm saying right now?
As if there was tenants.
As
Yeah,
if there were
it's
tenants.
based on the
So it's
potential.
potential, yep,
Yeah.
yep.
The fancy word would be pro forma.
Pro
But
forma,
I'm not gonna
yeah.
get into all that.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk very straight.
Say
As
it
if.
again.
Okay.
Go back.
So
Because it's performer, but yeah, it's more like a potential performance of the building.
of the building, yeah. The fancy word would be pro forma, but we don't say as if, because that's what it is. They want
That
it.
requires them to have less money in everything then, because
Well, yeah,
it's nuts.
yeah. Because the issue is when we see this, a great example of this would be 38th in Illinois. There's a shop right there. It has a shop at the bottom. It has living space on top.
Yeah.
And when we see that in Chinatown or Koreatown, we think to ourselves, "Oh my gosh, they came together and they saved all that money to do that." But the thing is, how much is the down payment? 3.5%. Okay, let's put it in better perspective. If they bought it 20 years ago for $100,000, how much did they have to save to get that down payment?
3,500.
$3,500. That's it. And they got money to purchase and rehab. And they could have said, "Hey, market rate for a 2-bedroom apartment. Let's say each one of these is 2-bedroom. 2-bedroom, 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 2-bedroom." They could say, "Hey, we have to live in one of them by law, by FHA law. You have to live in at least one unit." So they can't count that one as income. But let's say market rate at that time was $600 a month for a 2-bedroom. All right. And then let's say for these shops, maybe it was additional, let's make it small, say 800 for the businesses. Can someone add that up?
32 and 24.
8, 8, 8.
224.
So it wasn't just Tom, Mary, Sue, and Michael. Wasn't their income of them making $20,000 a month they bought from that property. It was also the pro forma or the as if it was rented for 600, 600, 600, 800, 800, 800, 800 yearly. Does that make sense?
I'm missing something here. So when, if, okay, what does it mean to, does the house cost less, or do they ask for less down payment when they know that you're going to have to make that much or what?
So what happens is the bank qualifies the person or the family for more.
Right, okay.
And so that allows them to get a larger loan. So maybe the purchase is still the same price, but maybe it now allows them to add more for the thrift store. Maybe it allows them to add more to make the nail shop beautiful. Maybe it allows them to, you got me?
I see now, okay.
And so then you turn around and you're like, damn, they done redid this entire building. Oh my gosh, my goodness. But they're paying a fixed percent FHA loan of 4%.
So basically, they factoring in the rehab cost, the purchase price cost, and then the performance of the building to be able to, and you really could get more rent than that though.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I'm being facetious.
But it's the total amount of the loan. So if you got $100,000 and to $200,000 to fix it, then you got a $300,000 loan.
So the numbers don't change. It's just that if you needed more to do whatever you wanted to do, you would qualify for more, but the base number itself never changes.
Never changes. That price that you have, that agreement, that never changes. That purchase price.
No. When you say that purchase price does change.
Well, the purchase price is still 100,000. If that building was 100,000, you still would be doing that, but you would taking out an extra 200,000 to be able to fix it up.
Isn't that part of the loan also?
Yeah,
So your loan would be
yeah,
300,000.
$300,000. But I'm sure when you get approved for a car, you qualify for, let's say, 40,000, but you don't necessarily have to max out 40,000, right? So the more income potential that building has, they qualify for more. But that doesn't mean that they have to take all that amount out. You got me?
But they would still, if they wanted an extra 100,000, the loan would actually be 200,000, not 100,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
But check this out. Wouldn't you rather have a loan of 200,000 that would renovate all 4 units and all 4 shops instead of going to another lender and getting a loan that doesn't have a fixed rate and it's not at a 30-year time? You feel
That's
me?
why we don't own businesses, because we don't understand.
Because we
don't understand.
We
That's
don't.
why we don't all these
But see, the thing is, with it being FHA, it's always the government promoting home ownership or asset ownership.
That's it.
That's how they sugarcoat it.
And what I would do, if you guys, please feel free to fact check this or whatever.
Know that.
You can Google what is an FHA. You can Google what is an FHA 203K.
So I have a question.
Yes, sir.
So let's say I'm 30, right?
Okay.
My score is
Above a 620.
above 620.
Yes.
Is it always obvious that the FHA 203K will be better than the regular FHA, or?
It would be, yeah. And the reason for it is because with FHA, you can only buy what's available on the market. With a 203K, you can still buy what's on the market, but you can also buy a lot of land. When we look at our neighborhoods that are primarily minority based, and you see your Caucasian friends move in, they normally do what?
Remodel.
They remodeled the fuck out of the house. Yeah. So what loan do you think they used?
2 or 3K.
Yeah.
And all these lenders I've gone through have never told me anything about
They
it.
won't.
They don't.
Nah,
They won't.
See, another
I
thing
lived there
too,
my time. You
another
know,
thing
no
too with the
idea.
regular FHA,
Yes.
they make you have to, the property has to pass that inspection. Yeah, see, the 2 or 3K, it has an inspection, but it's already told that, okay, this is what potential is gonna look like, so.
It already needs some modification.
Yeah,
You
it's
have to
gonna do the
report
mod-
what kind of modifications you're gonna make at all?
Yeah, I mean, it's
Is
still a
that
floor
basically-
plan.
Well,
Okay.
especially with the 2 or 3K in this market, let's use this market for example. It's so many people that's trying to buy that everybody's using the regular FHA loan and they can't find a house that passes the inspection. So the 2 or 3K is all the houses that's needing remodel.
Yeah,
And they got all the options they want.
and the vacant land.
And yeah, they can just build from the
But you
land.
do have to provide them like your plans of what you're gonna do to that property if it's.
When
Or do you just say, hey, I'm gonna buy this land and I'm gonna build a house, and then they just say, okay, here you go? Or do you say, I'm gonna build this house, here's the plans and here's all the documents for it?
don't make something simple difficult.
Right.
And I'm not saying that, you know,
Yeah, I know.
you feel me, right? Don't make it difficult. The beauty with Indianapolis right now is Indianapolis allows anyone to go online and pull floor plans for any house that was made from 2008 to current. You got me? So if you drive down College and there's a house that you're like, damn, that house is fat, right? You could go online, pay $5, and you can download the floor plans and architectural renderings of that house. And if you say to your lender, hey, listen, because for example, if you right now you have an FHA, all you gotta do is convert that or refinance that into a conventional, and you can use that FHA again. And if you rent that bad boy out, or if it is rented, they'll use that income from that property and they'll add it to your current income to make you qualify for more. You feel me?
So even though I have a conventional loan, I can still get an FHA, is what you're telling me?
And if you were a veteran, you could have a VA and a FHA at the same time. And a VA is what percent down?
Is it zero?
Zero.
No percent, yeah.
Can you refinance into a 3 or
No.
203? So I can I know I can
Yeah, you
refinance
got
mine to a
to-
conventional,
you gotta have one.
and then I can get my other one and use the
Yeah,
FHA.
yeah, you gotta have those.
Okay, but you can't refinance into a FHA.
200K. No. This is like an acquisition loan basically.
But I can refinance into the conventional and then go and use it to a.
Yep. Yep.
So
2 or 3K probably.
the houses, so a lot of the houses, like Sephir's, like I think Fountain Square is like really like the big thing now.
Yeah, everybody.
So those houses that are like that you see that are kind of like dilapidated, you can take that, get it 2 or 3K, take it, fix it up, and then flip it. You can flip it with that.
You can
2 or
sell it if
3.
you want.
Yeah.
Here's what you can say. You can say, Mr. Banker, you know, I really love this house, but I just don't feel safe. Who's gonna check you on that? Nobody. I just don't feel safe, like at all.
Is it after the 90 days?
Sure, you could do it because so you buy it, and as you're renovating, especially if it's ground up, it may take
about
longer than 90
Yeah,
days.
yeah.
So it might be 6 months.
So by the time you get in it, you can
might
say,
say-
okay, I wanna sell it.
Yeah, I thought, you know, I had my expectations for it was this, and I just don't feel like it. I don't know, I just don't.
But there's so many opportunities right now. By Addis High School, or whatever
Yes.
it's called
Everywhere.
now. All that area over there, that's gonna be all student housing pretty soon.
It's
All
hot.
those small homes, and they're selling them for nothing right now. Can you get an FHA 202, 3K on those?
Yes,
That's what I was.
Should've told me
yeah.
that.
Yeah,
620.
I know, right?
That's it.
How,
And you can have up to 4 people. You don't have to
And
be
they don't even
million.
have to know each other. But
Not
how
really.
often
this-
can you apply for that?
You can as many times as you want. You can only have one
It's amazing
at a
how
time.
many people call.
Yeah.
Right.
Is it the same for all FHAs or just
Yes,
for?
all FHAs is one at a time.
No, that's
Yeah,
all.
but this one is first time
Yeah.
owner, right?
Yeah, but you can have this FHA loan as many times as you want, but only one at a time. Does that make
Why does
sense?
it say first time owner?
That's who it normally
That's
is
what it's
for.
marketed to.
That's what they market it to. But anyone can do it. You could use this loan for your 10th house
Okay.
if you want. Well, that's just who they market it to. because it's easier to get into. And what
Because
happens
younger
is,
people are gonna have less money, so they don't want to use
with
the
that,
less.
and lower qualifications. What happens is that they market to people that maybe have a better credit score. The lender will say, let's not do FHA, let's just do conventional. Well, they just want more points.
Yeah, yeah,
That's it, real talk. I'm telling you from experience.
basically, commission.
They just want more commission because they can get more commission with your conventional. But the truth is, I mean, if you put $3,000 or let's say $4,000 down, your return on investment will be higher.
Yeah,
Because with the FHA, you can get a duplex, you can get a triplex, you can get a fourplex, you can get 4 units with storefronts. So of course your return on investment is going to be higher with the FHA, but they're going to market it to you. Hey, let's get conventional. Let's get conventional. We're gonna have less qualifications. We're gonna have this and that, and they will have less, about like
No.
10 things less, but you're better off just doing FHA and then refinancing to a conventional. Make sense?
Yeah.
So do the 4
Yeah,
people
that's-
have
that's-
to each have a credit score of 620 or
Yes.
whatever? Okay.
Yeah. Everyone has to have a 620 or better.
Okay.
And here's the issue. Here's the issue. Bank of America will not give you a FHA loan with a 580. Does that mean, you feel me? Here's why. The federal government's requirement for FHA is actually a 500. Most banks, because they package the loans and they sell it off, the higher they can get the credit score for that bank, the more they can sell that loan off in the
Yeah.
future. And so Bank of America may say, well, our FHA program requirement is a 680. Well, that's just their requirement as Bank of America. You feel me? Because they want to make more money off of their borrowers
When they sell it off.
when they sell it off. But you call, just as I said, you call Quicken Loans, you call, what is it, Salt Lake City or something bank, or Lake City Bank here. You call one of the smaller banks here locally and say, hey, I'm thinking about doing an FHA loan. And you can say, hey, you know what, I'm actually at a 575, I'll probably go like a 580 next month. Do you guys have an FHA program? They'd be like, oh yeah, we got one. But Chase would be like, fuck you.
That's what I was gonna ask.
Oh yeah, Chase would say fuck
What
you.
if you have a loan through Chase and you wanna switch to that loan, the FSH?
Refinance.
You're refinancing, yeah.
Okay.
Chase will say, yeah, we offer FHA, or we offer something similar to FHA, but our requirements is, we don't want a 620, we want a 700. And they can do that. Yeah. So your best bet is to look for smaller local banks. Quicken Loans this is a good example of a bank that really will lend for people who have 580s. But yeah, that's it.
Can I ask another question? Because you guys seem to be knowledgeable here. I'm with Wells Fargo on this property, and they have dropped mortgage insurance. So I called them trying to figure out, okay, well, that's not what I wanted, but I didn't have a choice. That's what they stopped doing. Is there anybody else that you can call, or do I have to refinance and get mortgage insurance again?
When we say mortgage insurance, we're saying the mortgage insurance for the bank.
No, mortgage insurance for me in case I pass off, the house is paid off.
Oh, yeah, my bad. Yeah, I feel you. Do you know what that really is? Who knows what that really is?
Them trying to be able to.
I was
No,
gonna
no,
say
no.
it's like an insurance for them to cover that.
It's
sure
term
the
life
loan-
insurance.
Yeah, it's basically to cover the loan to pay it off
It's
for
term
their
life.
benefit.
It's term
Not
life
just
insurance.
yours, so, and then they get the,
And then they take the property
F,
too.
the FD, what is it, FDIC?
FDIC. It's
Yeah.
term life insurance.
So what are you saying, just get a term policy then? Is that what
That's
you're
all it
saying?
is, my brother.
Yeah.
Okay.
But what certain banks were doing to make more money is they were also selling life insurance policies
Yeah, they
in
were.
conjunction with
Yeah.
with the mortgage. That life insurance policy is for the exact dollar amount as the
So
mortgage.
that's how the house got paid off.
Yeah.
But it would still go to my heirs though.
The house will.
Yeah.
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 It's just like you said, it's term.
It's
you know?
term. It's just term life insurance policy.
So when your term is up, you gotta renew. That's if you got a term.
Here's probably
policy.
why they dropped it. Who knows about term life insurance? As you get older, what happens?
It expires, so you gotta get it based off of what the end of your term. So if I'm 36, when I got a 10-year term at 46, my rate goes up because it's based off me being 46.
Yes. So what's happening with that term insurance policy, every year it was getting more expensive for them. But they probably had originally gave you a set price to go along with you making that mortgage payment.
Yeah.
Well, as you're like, damn, this black man is actually living past what we expected him for his ass to die. Let's go ahead. I'm just gonna get a guy honest truth.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and cancel that ass, and that's what they did.
It's birth control.
If you were, if no, that's the truth.
Yeah.
That's the guy. That's the guy.
Yeah.
I used to sell it. Actually, I was one of the best salesmen for it in northern Indiana. I would sit down with people that look like that old man right there at the printer and convince him and his family that, hey, listen, you need this we sell mortgage protection insurance. It's term life insurance. We sell mortgage protection insurance. And the reason that I can guarantee that it will cover X amount is because it's term insurance. It's because you don't have to do any physical. It's just really off your social security number and your age and your zip code. And I may ask you, do you smoke or do you not smoke?
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
So what would be the best solution to not get a life insurance through your mortgage, so that if you pass it away, then your family won't have to?
Your best thing is you still get insurance.
Yeah.
Still get life insurance.
Okay.
So go ahead and get a separate policy to cover my house then.
Then you make the beneficiary.
You can get a 30-year term.
Make the beneficiary your trust.
Okay.
Then put the property into your trust.
But then how would that pay? So if I died, the policy was in my trust, the house of my son would still have to make the house payment, or he would somehow
The
be
policy-
I pray to God that he will make the payment. But I'm just here's what you can do whatever you want. But here's what my clients do. They will put the property in the trust. They would make the beneficiary of the life insurance policy their trust. They will go ahead and open a bank account for the trust, and in the event that they pass away, they will go ahead and set up auto payments to go from their bank account to pay off their mortgage. Here's the issue: if you do what you're gonna do, if you were to pass away, and let's say your life insurance policy covers exactly the amount of the trust, your children will pay an inheritance tax on that property.
if I don't have it in a trust.
If you don't have it in the trust,
It's a probate.
it's a probate. And God forbid they sell that property, because what most minorities do is they say, oh, I inherited this property from blah, blah, blah. The IRS doesn't tax them immediately on it. The IRS takes his time, but he always gets his man, all right? And they end up selling it. And then what happens is they pay capital gains from selling it. Let me tell you guys what you guys got all this?
Well, let me take pictures.
This is the last thing.
Lady
Okay.
just inherited. I'm gonna get it. I can do it to her like that now, since you said that. Okay.
Hey.
Hey.
So, I'm sorry, because I was trying to type. So you said, get a life insurance policy, put the property in the trust, make the beneficiary the trust.
Of the life insurance policy.
Of the what?
Of the life insurance policy.
Make the beneficiary the
Yeah.
life.
Can you write it down, please?
Right. Okay.
Send it to us an email. Send it to us an email later, okay?
No, just record it. Record him talking.
Well, I'm recording it for you guys now.
Oh.
Also, we're gonna get this?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
That's why I was doing it.
Oh,
But
that's awesome.
Okay.
But, you know,
Okay.
y'all were like, I'm trying to help y'all out, but it's all good.
I mean, for me, it's still good to write it down, but it
I
would
got
be
it.
great
Yeah.
if we
Yeah,
have.
it's a lot of information.
Perfect.
So remember,
It is.
remember the wealthy for their trust, they can put their business into the trust. Cool. They then make their life insurance, the beneficiary life insurance, their trust. And they put, it could be land, houses, whatever. They put that into the trust. When it's time for your son, if he's in destitute, if he's starting a new business, going to college, he can then borrow money from the trust. Or as a beneficiary, he can get $5,000 a month, $2,000 a month, whatever, from the trust.
So.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So should we basically, I guess from what I'm understanding, so we should be setting up trust now, not
Now.
waiting till we're like,
A long time
oh.
Now.
yesterday.
Set it up now. The best time to set up is now. And
Generation.
I'll send you guys the website. I'll give you, here's the website.
And so what you're saying is that your client set up an auto payment, so if I would pass away, if my bank account was in my trust, my life insurance was in my trust, I would have the bank account set up, so if I die, then it automatically takes over and makes auto payments?
Correct.
Yes.
To your, okay.
And so you don't have to worry about your son making the
Duh,
payments.
I know, cause you know,
Well, you know how people are. You know how people are.
yeah,
People do
they don't
different
work
things.
for it, they don't care.
Yeah. So let's see here.
That's true.
But you know what else too? That's also good to have payments made if it's for your, like say your son and they get payments out of it. Because you give somebody like I hate to say it, but you give our people a lump sum, that's gone.
Yeah, it's better if you don't tell
You
them
just
how much is in
get
the
'em.
trust.
Right.
Yeah, and this money come every month, like you have a monthly.
Right.
Any.
Yeah.
But if you don't put
Like-
your, I'm sorry to
No, no,
interrupt.
go ahead.
So if you don't put your trust in, I mean, your life insurance in your trust, then you might pay, your beneficiaries might pay taxes, on that.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
So
the trust protects it.
The
from-
Correct.
Okay, okay.
yeah, because we were talking about that asset protection.
Asset protection.
So real quick, if you guys go to lelandbaptist.net/trust, I'm giving you guys those documents. It should be.
So you were about to tell us what you and your wife do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank
that's
you.
what-
Thank you, man.
That's what I was
Sorry to get in
waiting
your
for that.
business, but
Oh, it's fine.
I'm curious.
I've no worries, bro. I have no worries, bro. Because what we do is we basically just you gonna look at it like, is that legal? It's very legal. Happens every day. So, real quick, all right. So we got that. We put everything into the trust. Cool. You got it. You can put your cell phone in the trust if you want. But your trustee, whoever that trustee is, right? You would have instructions for them saying, hey, listen, upon my death, I need you to call the bank, whatever, or make sure that those payments start, so that's made, right?
I have a question. When you write your trust, do you need to get it notarized?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Do you need to get it recorded?
You don't have to. You don't have to
have
do
to.
it.
when you get
Oh.
to that. Okay, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it has to be notarized now. All right. So let's do this. All right. So what my wife and I do is when we make. So as a private banker, I may make $20,000 one day, and then I may not make nothing for 5 days, right? So what we do is, when we get large lump sums of money, we reach out to people who are in foreclosure. Almost time? 5 minutes? Okay. I live in this area, so they know me. So, and I come here often. So anyway, what happens is, we reach out.
You live north up here then?
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
But here's an example, real quick, like a live example. Someone's in foreclosure, which people are in foreclosure every day. They're in foreclosure. You reach out to them and say, listen, man, you're in foreclosure, let me help save your credit. What we're gonna do to help save your credit is you're going to quit claim your property over to a trust, right? As you quit claim the property over to a trust, I'll make sure, as a trustee, that those mortgage payments are made. It will build your trust. I mean, it will build your credit. I'm making those monthly payments for you on your behalf. Okay, as your trustee of the trust. The property is now in the trust. Okay, my son has been named the beneficiary of that trust. You feel me?
Right, and so they don't own their property anymore either.
They don't. Okay,
I
so
thought it was a scam. Somebody approached me with that.
it's not a scam. It's not a scam. It's business. So that's one way to acquire property.
Okay.
You catch my drift? People do it every
It's a
day.
subject too, right?
It's a subject too.
Okay.
People do it every day. All right.
But you still the person still lives in the house.
No, hell no. No,
No,
God no. So his question
You're
is,
making the payments in their name, but you own the property.
his question is, will the person still live in the property?
Yeah.
No. No. Mm-mm. Not with my money, but sure, with yours, sure. not with my money. Because with my money, what I do is if I choose not to sell it, let's say I choose to hold it, I'm going to lease option or rent to own that property for a higher amount. Yesterday, what's today? Today is the 10th. Read this date right here for me. What's that date for?
July 9th, 2019.
So that was yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yesterday, out of thin air, read that amount for us all.
$100,000.
I made $100,000 on paper yesterday. It's legal all day. Does that make
So
sense?
somebody's house was in foreclosure.
So, yes.
You went to them, talked to them about saving their credit.
Yes.
Okay, so you put everything in a trust that you own.
Yes.
So they don't know. Do they understand all this?
Yes.
And then,
And-
how does this help their credit score?
It's still
It's
in
not-
their name.
it's in the foreclosure.
It's not in
Yeah,
foreclosure.
it ain't foreclosed.
It's not foreclosed on.
Oh, okay.
It's consistent payments. Payment history helps credit.
Yeah.
And it's still in their
So-
name too, right? As
The
far as-
loan.
The loan is still in their name, and it's
They
being
quit
paid
claim
by
the
you.
deed to you, so
Thank
you own
you.
it.
That's why I showed you guys the deed.
But the loan is in your
their
name,
name.
so they're paying it for you. So that's showing your payment record.
It's basically like you own a finance.
Sure.
And
then what I did is there was a family that wanted to buy a house in that area, and they paid let's say they paid me $10,000 as a down payment, and I let them buy this house for 5 years at $100,000. Now the mortgage is only $60,000. You feel
You're
me?
making $5,000 a month. Is that what you're saying?
No. No,
Making $40,000.
I make $40,000 when it's all said and done. And all I did was create paper.
So when
Does that make sense?
when the mortgage is when you get the mortgage from them in default, that so how do you go about as far as do you do like a modification?
No,
with
no,
them?
no.
You just
You just pay it all
I
back
make-
to back payments?
You call the bank and you say, listen, Billy Bob has made me an authorized user or an authorized individual on his loan. Okay? So he's allowing me to speak on your behalf. I need to know as soon as possible, what is the reinstatement amount? What's the reinstatement fee to get this loan current?
Back current, yeah.
Back current. So that everything can be easy peasy. And they'll say, well, Mr. Baptist, it's gonna be $3,000. I'll say, cool, I got $3,000. Now, if I didn't have $3,000, you know what I would do?
Trying to negotiate it.
I would try to negotiate it. The family that paid me $10,000, they would pay me $10,000 quicker. You feel me? And I would get 7, pay the mortgage company on. Does the mortgage company care who the payment comes from?
No.
Okay.
No.
So how do you work this if, okay, I've got a lady that I'm working on, I'm gonna be her property manager, but she inherited a house.
Okay.
She lives in Arizona, and she's not gonna be, to be able to take care of this. I already had to stay on them about the air conditioner, because, it's a beautiful home, but she's 40, her grandmother lived to be 103, she doesn't really care. I mean, she does, but she doesn't. So I should be able to work something like this with her too, then.
Yeah.
Right, because she's not gonna want, she just wants some cash, that's all she wants.
And you can give her cash.
Right.
So the family that could live in there, just hypothetically, if for a rent to own, do you pay more or less for it?
More.
Substantially more. Okay. So for that, if that family is charged, if you charge that family, let's just say low end $900, but maybe she only wants $400 a month.
And then at the end of the term, when the rent to own is when we do the finance, she gets her money, I get my money, and then we walk
And
away.
you walk away.
But
Now listen. Now listen. Check this out. Check this out. Check this out.
Like this.
There's a catch though.
In the trust, can I refinance that house in the trust?
Yeah, cause you're the
I can.
owner.
You know.
Yeah, I'm the owner. I can refinance that property in the trust.
I need to talk to you more later off.
No, I mean just
Cause,
The
But-
trust acts like a shield, basically. You say
act like a
asset
shield.
protection.
And the bank may say, in the bank's mind, they may be like, hey, it's basically the same person to me. In the bank's mind, because anyone can put their property into a trust, because it's normally meant as a way to pass over or to hand off assets.
Quick comment on as far as you getting a quick claim deed and the mortgage. See, a lot of people don't understand that when you get the deed, that means you own the house.
Yes.
But if you get if you still got a mortgage on, just because there's a mortgage on there, all the mortgage was is just a lien. So you could still it could be your mortgage, but it's my house.
Right,
But it
right.
was
That's
your
what it
house.
is too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, huh?
Somebody else can be the person
Say
paying the
you,
mortgage.
yeah, so
but you
your
can still own
mortgage,
the house.
yeah, I can own your house and
Yeah.
you still owe a mortgage on it.
That's what our economy allows us to do because when they sell, it's time to go. Okay.
That's what's up.
That's why in our economy,
Yeah.
when you make that loan with Bank of America, they sell the what?
The
The
mortgage.
mortgage, but not the house.
Yeah.
And so they make money off of selling your mortgage
see,
multiple times.
And they put that in the mortgage.
Yeah.
You sign off when you get the mortgage.
That's why you see all these gated communities.
Wait.
The next out.
Let's talk about this. The gated communities, if you look at their properties, whose name is the property in?
It's in a trust. They all
Trust.
come together.
All their houses are in a trust.
Right.
They don't own their house. The house is in a trust.
So they're gonna make sure they keep that. They're
But
making money
instead-
off of us and no one's gonna keep it.
Yeah, but instead, grandma's house is in her name.
Yeah.
So this, if you guys /trust, that's all the documents there.
That's the changeable trust document.
I own nothing to go but this and look in the back.
That was good.
Thanks for taking.
No problem. We're happy to be here.
I'll come out as I work.
Yeah. If you guys want any business cards or anything, let me know.
Yeah.
And
Just, I got the business
Okay.
card stuff.
but if you guys need help just doing your trust, it doesn't cost anything for that, guys. Seriously. The trust is a document.
You do that stuff?
You can, yeah, but you can do it yourself. Yeah, you can do it yourself. If
Oh, let me
you
get a
go
card
to that
too.
website right there /trust, it has the templates there for you.
I know we got to walk and talk, man.
I got
All right,
I
we
got a
got it.
question. So you need certain type of legal terms like
Within the trust? Yeah, but the template has that for you.
Yeah, I'm getting.
Yeah, and what you could do is you could always have, it's cheaper to have a lawyer review
yes.
than to do it. And then what you can do is you could rough draft it yourself and say, hey, listen, can you review this for me? And let them ink it up if you want, to make you, very clear, conscious and all that
So I
stuff.
wrote mine a long time ago. So, I didn't get it notarized. So I wanted somebody to look over it.
Yeah, okay, I would do that, like, have a lender, have a lender, not lender, have a lawyer.
Yeah.
We need to
Yeah,
help you
go
with
over it.
anything?
No, I'm good, my wife's here, so.
Okay.
she'll help me.
But she's busy with 2 kids. You told me to work with her.
Thank you.
I ain't touching that one.
No problem.
I'm in contact with you.
Okay.
Talk to her. We'll talk to her.
Need some help. I don't know nothing about this, so
Oh, I got you. You know what, man? I think,
that's your wife's stuff, right?
yeah, I think I guess.